What's up, guys? My name is Rome himself. I'm a competitive player, esports commentator, tournament host, and content creator for fighting games, mostly known for SNK titles. While I'm sure some of you may already know that, there's quite a bit of you that don't. And that's exactly why we're here today, because what if I told you that there was others just like me? Others just as passionate as myself, if not maybe even more passionate about SNK games. And we're going to sit down with all of them. From tournament players, to commentators, to artists, to event organizers, to lore enthusiasts, to legacy players, to unsung heroes, hell, even the people who work for SNK. All so we can get to know our fellow community members even more and find out their origin stories and put a spotlight on the amazing work that they do for the games that we all have come to love. This is 15 Minutes of Flame.
Get ready, fighters! A Rome himself production is coming your way!
Happy New Year, everybody, and welcome to the inaugural episode of the 15 Minutes of Flame. It is my passion project, something I've been wanting to do for quite some time. And I have the first guest here, the very first guest. You know him, you love him, you've seen him all over the world as far as KWF events. Give it up for Mr. Aroo. Woo! Yeah! What's up, man?
Thanks for the warm welcome, Rome. Yeah, you know, things have been good. Happy New Year to everybody. 2023 is going to be a better year. Knock on wood. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, but like, for real though, I think fighting games in general in 2023, we've got a lot to look forward to. So I'm really excited to see what this year brings.
Absolutely, I would agree with you. The future's already looking bright. We're in January. This is recorded before we got any updates from KOF or Sam Show, but we do know that we are getting a rollback update as well as the KOF 15 Season 2. But before we get into all that, I want to start with the origin story. I'm a big fan of people's origins and how they got to where they are. So tell me a little bit about yourself growing up, man.
Yeah, growing up, let's see. My family, you know, they immigrated here from Korea. And they had me basically very early on, like after they had immigrated initially. So it was pretty difficult for them. They were moving around a lot. My dad was going to school and working at the same time. My mom was raising me. So, you know, growing up, you know, it was fine. I guess I don't know what else to say about it.
Well, no, that's a tough upbringing for both parents to be like not only working, going to school, taking care of a kid. Like that's a lot, you know.
Yeah,
that's a lot to do. So kudos to your parents. That's what's up.
Yeah, no, they're great. I love them to death.
Yeah, man. So let's talk fighting games, bro. What was the first? What's your first interaction with fighting games that you can remember?
Well, my first exposure to fighting games, I think, is when we visited Korea when I was young. I don't even remember how old I was at the time, but we visited when I was young. We were hanging out. I was visiting my cousins on my dad's side, and like my cousins, they're older than me. They're like 15 years older than me or something like that. So there's a bit of an age gap, but at the time they were already into like games and stuff, and they actually had emulation. We're allowed to talk about emulation, right? It's not official.
I mean,
okay.
I don't work for SNK. I'm good.
No, yeah, neither do I. So, yeah, so they actually had emulated like a bunch of Neo Geo stuff on their computers. So they were just showing me stuff. I was really impressed with Metal Slug. I had a lot of fun with that. But they also showed me KOF. So I was pretty taken with kind of how the game, like the presentation and everything, the way all the characters moved around and stuff, and all that stuff. So that's, I think, where like they planted the seeds of like being an Iori player in my brain. So that's, I guess, my first exposure to it. But like I didn't like play fighting games really, not even casually, for like a very long time afterwards. But I kind of rediscovered them later on in my life when I would go over to one of my friend's house. His older brother was really pretty into fighting games, and he was like showing us like Tekken and Marvel versus, or no, it wasn't Marvel versus Capcom. It was, I think it was the Marvel Superheroes versus Street Fighter.
Oh, the Black Sheep. Yeah.
That one, yeah. So I remember having a lot of fun with that one, and that's kind of when like I became more interested in like learning to play fighting games and, you know, possibly getting good at them. But even after that, it was a long time before I started to actually come out to like like local stuff and like really take improving seriously. So I mean, I guess all that to say that I didn't get into fighting games really until I was like pretty far along into my life.
Yeah, I was gonna ask like the time frame, like because you mentioned emulation, like I'm sure that's like early 2000s or so, right? For fighting games, or is that earlier?
I don't remember. I mean, it's honestly, I don't know. I couldn't even guess. So
understandable, but
yeah. I would assume that, yeah, probably early 2000s, and then like visiting my friend and like all that stuff. That was probably when I was in like grade school through like middle school, and then getting into actually doing locals and stuff like that and going to tournaments. That was after I had finished my undergrad.
Oh, so wow, this is way later because we're roughly the same. I think we are the same age. I think you're a few months older. So this is probably around what, KOF 13 time, around then, right?
Actually, exactly.
Yeah. Wow. So yeah, that's pretty cool. That's later than, you know, a lot of people. Like myself, I've been playing fighting games since I could remember. I think that might be the first genre of games I've ever played. So you know, like Street Fighter and whatever. But that's cool. Always like hearing the stories, especially like cousins, right? Like we always have like, you know, the big family meeting if it's a holiday and everyone gets together and like, you know, your cousins play Tekken. It's always usually Tekken or like Mortal Kombat. Yeah. but when you get KOF, that's cool. That's always that's cool. And KOF always has a bit more, I think, of a, well, we know it's niche, but like a diehard fan base in terms of like, even when you see casual KOF players, it's like they still know a hefty amount about the game. Like they went out and seek the game. Whereas maybe a Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter, it's like someone is just browsing a game store and they're just like, oh, well, this looks cool, boom, they'll buy it.
Like they play it because it's there and easily accessible. Yeah.
Cool. So what is it about KOF that has captivated you? You know, as far as characters, you know, lore, whatever it may be. What is something that made it, you know, so much stand out to you so much that you're like, this is my shit. I want to main this. I want to be, you know, really good at this.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think the thing that initially made me want to compete in KOF was watching KOF 13 at EVO. Everybody knows KOF 13 at EVO was like some of the best top 8 action, I think, in EVO's history. I feel like a lot of people would agree with that.
Dude, I still get goosebumps watching that. That grand finals alone. I get goosebumps. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, me too. It's that left like a really strong impression on me, and I was like, okay, I want to play this game too. It looks really cool. I remember it from, you know, years and years back, like the characters, all that stuff. So I started playing it, and the thing that's really kept me competing in it, and you know, mostly focusing my effort and energy into this game as opposed to other games is I like the gameplay. I feel like it's really unique. It's kind of like a mix of like Street Fighter and some other, I don't even like, there's nothing else that you can really compare it to, but it does share a lot of the same DNA with a lot of other fighting games. But it's unique enough where like nothing else really hits quite the same for me as KOF.
So, you know, that's an interesting topic, right? Trying to explain, because I've had trouble even when someone asks me how to play KOF, and I'm like, oh, it's like, and then I'm like, oh, wait, like I kind of brain fart because I'm like, it's a fighting game, but it's kind of like its own thing. How do you feel about the argument of, well, not necessarily the argument, but like the topic of saying KOF is 2D, it's a 2D, 3D game, essentially, in terms of like movement and I guess the flow of how things are. How do you feel about that? Because that's something I've heard people say for years.
I've heard that. I've heard that a lot too. I think the first person I've heard say that was Juicebox, and it made a lot of sense when he explained it on his stream. I don't want to paraphrase it too poorly, but from what he said, it was something like it's a very system mechanics heavy game, and a lot of 3D games are also, you know, system heavy games as opposed to like character specific matchup knowledge and stuff like that, which you see a lot of in other games like Street Fighter and like Guilty Gear. I see. That's true. Yeah. Also, like the importance of movement and like not being where your opponent wants you to be, and being able to like constantly adjust your spacing and attack from angles that they have trouble dealing with. I think that's like, it's like a really unique thing. I feel like obviously those concepts do exist in other games as well, but I feel like KOF, it makes the most sense to me. And that's obviously I'm biased, but, you know.
No, I think you're making a valid point, because when you think about it, KOF is not always matchup heavy. It's mostly how good are you at the game, because if you're good at the fundamentals of the game, you can in most cases essentially play most of cast, right? Like the better player is going to beat you majority of the time in KOF, you know. That's a topic. I mean, we'll talk about the top tiers of 15, but even I feel like that to a degree. I have yet to lose to a Cronin that was less skilled than me. Like I knew what they wanted to do, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna just navigate around it.
Right.
EJ is another character. No, I'm just kidding. So you know, you mentioned that you saw Evo 2012, my personal favorite Evo, by the way, and that top 8 captivated you. You know, you saw that, wow, I want to get good at this. I want to get strong. Naturally, that leads to finding a scene, right? Finding whether it's a local scene. Back then, forums. I guess now would be like a Reddit or something, right? Or just Twitter.
Twitter, Discord. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Man, we have so many options now to find players. That's great. But what would you say is like, what was the first major that you ever attended, and how was that experience? Like, walk me through it.
Yeah. At the time, I was living in Chicago, so you know, I connected with like the Chicago local guys. I made a forum post actually on the Dream Cancel forums, which is, if you're not aware, for you guys watching the video, that's the like SNK centric. I guess it's more KOF, just KOF centric, like community that I think Desmond and like Lazy Freddy and other people like
Kane 317,
Kane. Yeah. Those guys, they've been cultivating that for a while. And that's where I met up with them. And then the first major that I attended with them was, or just in general, actually at all, was, let me think. It was Frost. I guess it wasn't really considered a major at the time, but it was Frosty Faustings. That was like the big like tournament that I went to. And
I guess I should have, my bad. I should have generalized like regional or major, just an event that you would stay at for a weekend. You know what I mean, in a hotel. Yeah.
So I didn't need to stay at the event because I lived so close. So it was Frosty Faustings, and then I went to like Combo Breaker after that, which I guess is a much bigger one. I think this was the first Combo Breaker that I went to. It was, both of them were a lot of fun. Chicago knows how to run tournaments.
Oh, I would say so. You know, fast forward to 2022, and some might argue that Combo Breaker is like the best event we have. You know, I certainly think it is up there. It's always a fun time. You know, they throw it down out there. So many games. You know, as a matter of fact, we got Frosty coming up actually next month, so I'm looking forward to going. Last year, I know you were there at Frosty last year, because they actually had a build of KOF 15 there.
They did.
Right? Yeah. So we'll get into that, but before we do you remember the first breakout tournament you had, like in terms of like your play, like you've seen yourself get better? Maybe you beat someone that you was like a bracket demon before, or just like a placing. Maybe you placed higher than you usually do, where you're like, okay, I'm catching on, I'm getting stronger.
It's kind of hard to like find one tournament, because for me, like my growth has kind of been like linear. There hasn't really been any big jumps or anything like that. So I've been steadily improving as a player over time, as you do, right? I think everybody's improving. And then I think for me, the most impressive thing that I've done in tournament, I guess it's pretty recent. The thing that sticks out to me is just playing Romance in top 8 at Texas Showdown. In KOF 15. Yes. It was Texas Showdown 2022, KOF 15. I played Romance. It was like the craziest, sloppiest set that either of us have played, but I ended up on top with like a crazy fucking jump CD into a climax conversion with Cronin. This was before Cronin was buffed, by the way, and everybody was sleeping on him. I was a believer. Randall was a believer. We knew.
I was a believer because I lost to you several times.
Yeah, the character is good even before the buffs. But yeah, I mean, that was probably the most like surprising thing to me, was playing and being Romance, who I respect immensely as a competitor, as a promoter, organizer, all those things. So it was really cool. It was a cool moment.
Yeah, big shout outs to Romance. He's definitely somebody, and I'm speaking it into fruition. I will have you here on the other side of this camera as well, Romance, in the future. We'll talk about it. But yeah, man, that was really big. I remember being on vacation with family and watching it because we were in the mountains, and like it's nice up there for a bit, but then it's like, what are you gonna do? You're in a cabin. We already like went out for the day, and we were just back in the cabin hanging out, and I'm like, I don't want to sit around and look at them, like, you know, let me just check it out. So I remember seeing that, and I was like, let's go, because you know, Romance is a super strong player. I mean, and you know, he's got legacy. He's been around. So you can type in his name and see KOF 12 videos. Like, that's how long he's been playing. So any dub for an East Coast guy is someone I'm always ready. I'm always in on that.
Yeah.
So yeah, so keeping it forward with breaking out, the year is 2019. Samurai Showdown 7, or if you want to call it 2019, the official title. That game comes out. At the time, a lot of us in New York, because you're in, you know, we fast forward, you're in New York at this time, you're not in the Midwest anymore. We didn't play much Sam Show, but we started to dabble with 5 Special to get more comfortable with the game. And there was a player who I think liked it a lot more than the others, and their skill kind of went like, and that's where we come to you, because I felt like you really took to Sam Show 5 as like a duck takes the water, and the way you were playing that game, I mean, it was fun. Remember those what was that thing? It wasn't Fightcade, it was like the Chinese Fightcade, remember that?
Oh yeah, yo, X Zone,
yeah. Oh dude, that was fun, man. Me, you, man, died. That was a good time.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
That was fun. But yeah, Sam Show 2019 comes out. It's the newest version. And you go all the way to, I believe it was PAX, right?
It was PAX East, so not quite as far.
Yeah, it's in Boston.
Yep.
So a few hour drive, but you went there. They had like a demo build of the game. What were your thoughts on it at the time, if you can remember?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's funny, you sent me these questions. I should have prepared more, but I could have literally pulled up like a document that I had written out that has like my thoughts. But I remember being pretty impressed with it, and like thinking the one like major thing that I remember thinking was that the walk speeds were really slow. And they ended up not changing that, but that ended up being fine. But that was my initial impression, was that the walk speeds were really slow, and then everything else I couldn't really get like a really great handle on. But I remember thinking it was fine, but it was fun, and I was going to give it an honest shot, and I was going to do my best to compete and all that stuff.
Yeah, I remember you were kind of like our middleman, because I think you were like the only one, maybe Tamsun, because I know he lives out there too, so I'm not sure if he went. But I just remember in our Facebook group chat, which also sounds dated by today's standards.
Yeah, right.
Our Facebook group chat at the time, you know, we were all asking you, hey, how does, you know, who's in the demo, and how does this feel, and, you know, inputs and blah, blah. I remember we were just asking you like everything, and you were answering. You were saying, oh, this is that, you know. So the game's not quite out yet, right? We talked about it earlier. There's a big event, Combo Breaker, that's also happened in the same year, 2019. They have an actual demo tournament. I think it was like an auction tournament, right?
They had both, actually. They had the auction tournament, and then they also had like a singles tournament.
Oh, okay. I didn't know about the singles one. Did that get streamed, or?
It didn't. I don't think it got streamed. No. Yeah.
So the auction tournament, for those that may not know, an auction tournament is you buy your character essentially. So someone will say Haomaru, someone in the crowd goes $1, next person goes $2. You keep bidding. It's a bidding war basically. And I've seen some prices go crazy. I myself, not to derail this, but I myself has spent $120 on a shitty KOF 14 team in the auction. And yeah, and then whatever. Anyways, but Aroo did not do that. And this is why we're talking, because Aroo, I don't know how much he paid, but he bought Genjiro, who at the time, game is super early. I mean, game's not out. Nobody knows. This character's fucked up.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He is ridiculous.
Pre-patch Genjiro was, he was insane.
I paid $70 for pre-patch Genjiro. Pre-release Genjiro even. I don't think they changed very much between the pre-release and the release itself, but he was really good. We didn't know how good at the time.
For sure.
We were barely even playing the game, honestly. You look back at the auction tournament footage, now, which you shouldn't do because it's so bad. But like I'm telling you that like none of us knew what we were doing. It was really
kind
ugly.
of swinging for the fences type. Yeah. I mean, you didn't have time to practice. It was just a build. It was like, hey, you hop on, and that was it, right? There was no nobody was able to practice. But you did turn that $70 into how much?
It was a lot of money. It was I think it was like almost. I think it was like 1,000 and something, 1,000 something else. I don't remember. But it was a lot. It's 1,700 maybe.
Oh my god! So you entered an auction tournament with a day zero character for everyone, right? Everyone's entering. It's even footing. You bought this character that happens to be the most cheap character. Of course, we don't know. And you turned $70 into 1,700. Oh my god! You probably won more than most winners of actual brackets at that event. And that's not a shot. That's just, you know, it's possibly a fact, you know? It's
possible, yeah. I mean, people were paying a lot to enter this thing, and there was a lot of, you know, excitement, a lot of hype behind the game. So, you know, I just happened to get lucky. People, for whatever reason, didn't buy Genjiro. They paid I think Charlotte ended up going for like $200 or something like that, and like Almaru also $200, if I'm not mistaken.
I remember someone, it might have been him, but it's someone we knew bought Hamaru and like lost like first round. So like
I think it might have been Alex K-Dash.
No, that's probably who. Yeah, that might be who it is. But
Alex K-Dash actually ended up winning the off-stream tournament, the one that they had afterwards.
Yeah, but he didn't win $1,700 though. So
no sir.
So yes, Aroo at one point was the highest paid Samurai Showdown character. Mr. Money right here. Money Aroo loaded. But that was pretty cool. I remember watching it at home again and seeing you win, and I'm thinking, this is so crazy, like to win all that money. And of course, like the good guy Aroo is, he took everybody out for pizza.
I did, yeah. It was you know, it's kind of a tradition, you know, for Combo Breaker. The Chicago guys, the Chicago KOF guys, if any of us like wins money, we usually spend it to take everybody out. So I was just giving back, you know.
Awesome. I'm sure you had more saved. So
yeah.
In addition to rollback, right? We have the rollback update coming for Samurai Showdown 2019 later this month. Like I said, it's not out at the time of this recording. Is there anything else you want to see as far as this game is concerned, like maybe a balance update or?
I mean, obviously a balance update would be nice. I think we're at a point right now in the patch cycle with Samurai Showdown where the people that have been playing have explored the game, you know, pretty well, I think. And they've achieved a really high level of play, and I think they have a pretty good idea of what's good and what's not. And I think having a small balance update would be helpful, and it would also be nice for people that are like looking to get back into it to be like, oh hey, I'm not like on even footing from all those people that, you know, so we're playing for the past 2 years or whatever.
Right.
But I mean, if they don't, that's still fine. It's like we'll have a chance to play this game, and it'll be new to us regardless, right? So
yeah, it's gonna be a fresh feeling, I think, for, like you mentioned, a lot of us. Only a small group of people was continuing to play, and still do to this day. I'm in some of those discords, and I see like people are queuing up. Hey, I'm on Parsec to play some Samurai Showdown. So kudos to them. You know, when the game officially gets rolled back and everyone's able to play, I think that's going to be a great thing. It could be another, how can I say this, another notch in possibly SNK doing something for Sam Show down the road, right? If they see an exponential growth in this, maybe Sam Show 8 is around the corner, or, you know, who knows what can happen. But I'm looking forward to it as well. So yeah, also with Samurai Showdown, you know, we mentioned how you were a strong player at the game. You have various placings at events, highest plate payer at one time. I do think this is around the time when Aroo the player was known, but Aroo the commentator kind of just fucking soared into the air, and like, I'm not gonna say people only know you as a commentator, but I feel like your commentary, especially with, you know, we'll talk about your backlog, your work of commentary, and like just how big it is for what you've done over these past few years. But I feel like that was when the commentator Aroo really began to soar. So what was the first time, not exactly the first time you did commentary, because I don't think anybody can remember that, but like, when did you notice that you liked doing commentary and this was something you're like, I'm gonna go a little extra harder and then, you know, improve at it and things like that?
Sure. So I spent a lot of time before even I went out to my first local, watching a lot of streams, a lot of fighting game streams. I've been watching since like the Peaceful Jays, like streamed like SF4 lobbies on Justin TV and stuff. So I've been a stream monster like the entire time that it's been like a concept. And I remember watching a lot of tournaments and seeing people on commentary and being like, I could probably do that. You know, some of these guys, they're like, I could probably do what they're doing, was what I was thinking. So I remember actually, you said that most people probably don't remember the first time they were on commentary. I do actually. It was actually at my local. It was a small venue in the town that I was living in, actually, Aurora. It's a suburb of Chicago. There was a venue called Wit Gaming. And they had these small streams, like nobody would watch them, but it was still cool to be able to sit down on the mic and like talk about the game and get some practice. I remember the first time that I did commentary, it was like so terrible. It was awful. But like it's good. You need to get that experience. Yeah. You need to have you need to bomb, a few times in order to get.
Nobody comes in yipes, nobody comes in hell pockets, nobody comes in you, right? Like the way at the level you are now, it doesn't happen. We've all had commentary that we like, like I would rather not want to hear it back.
yeah, absolutely. And I still have blocks like that where I like get done with it. I'm like, damn, I hope nobody listened to anything that I was saying. You know what I mean? But like, that's my first time commentating. But like, I didn't really do it, like I didn't pursue it really. I still feel like I don't really pursue commentary like that. Like I always see myself as like a player first, and like the fact that people happen to like listening to me and keep inviting me back to work events and stuff, I feel like that's just kind of like it just kind of happened organically for me, because I got really lucky. I'll be the first to admit that I got incredibly lucky with everything that was going on in Sam's show, me being like kind of the person that put out that impressions doc while nobody else really cared at PAX East. And then me winning the auction tournament. And then me also getting like an early copy of the game from SNK. From SNK.
Okay.
It was to promote the game, right? And we had like a whole stream with Team Spooky to promote the game before the game came out.
Oh, I was there. I remember that. That was fun.
Yeah. So there were a lot of eyes on me as far as Sam Show goes early on in the game's life, and I was kind of able to. I didn't really. It's not like I tried to do this, but like I was able to leverage that that attention. And people saw like when I was commentating my locals at NLBC, they were like, hey, this guy isn't awful at commentary. And like at the time, there weren't that many people commentating Sam Show like that. Not that many people putting that much time into it and like learning the game and commentating it. So I was almost like the only option for a lot of these events. So that's how I was able to get my foot in the door. And then ever since then, I've just been getting invited back. I guess because it's safe. They know I'm like reliable, and people don't absolutely despise me. So,
well, I'll say this: you're mentioning you're saying you're lucky. Luck plays a role in everything, but I wouldn't say that where you are is not just because of luck. You won an auction tournament. It took some type of skill to do that. Yeah, everyone's just kind of doing stuff, but you won, right?
Sure.
And you took the opportunity and you kept it going. You worked, well, we'll talk about the events you worked, but you commentated at your locals. You had the practice. You put yourself out there, maybe not directly as in like, hey, hire me, but like, I'm at my locals, I'm commentating, I'm out here playing, I'm supporting my locals as a whole.
Yeah.
So that is putting eyes on you regardless, because you're able to get that practice.
That's a great point. To anybody that's watching, if you're looking to like break into like commentary or anything like that, or like any type of role where you like need to be kind of recognized, if you have locals, you should definitely go to them and get, make yourself known to like your local community. And if your local community is not very big, or if you don't have one, your regional community is also very important to get in good with, I guess. because I mean, it's if nobody knows who you are, then like they're not gonna reach out to you, do anything, right?
That's true. Visibility is everything. I know a lot of us hate social media, but even that, putting your stuff out on social media, the right stuff that is, on social media, it builds a capital for you, for people to see, okay, this person is going to their events, they're streaming, they're doing whatever, they're commentating. This lets me know that they want to work at these events, or, you know, they're improving their skills, so that I will reach out to them to hire them for a said event.
That's another part of how I was lucky, is the fact that I'm in New York. I think New York is probably like the highest visibility local scene in probably the world, even.
Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe that's my America-centric viewpoint talking, but certainly in America, I think it's not out of line to say that that New York probably has the highest visibility scene. Especially at the time, back when Spooky was still living here and he was still streaming stuff.
Ooh, yeah.
So,
no, I would agree with you on that. Like, I mean, everyone knows Battle Circuit, right? Everyone knows, even Lunar Phase. Lunar Phase has been doing a good job at consistently putting out events. TSB, another household name as far as anime games. You have Bum. We have a lot of locals, right? Like, a lot of people doing events. New York is, you know, we're very grateful to live in New York on that end. Not necessarily the Bills, because Bills out here is crazy.
Of course not, yeah.
But, you know, we're fortunate to have that local. But, you know, back to like the local scene. So I've always thought about commentary in a way, like, me and you, I felt like we've had similar kind of like paths into commentary, where it wasn't like it was something we were like, hey, we want to be commentators. It was just, I'm doing it because I'm just helping out the scene. Yeah. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think both you and I think we've just kind of stepped up because, you know, we had people that were doing commentary for KOF stuff. We had like Afrodynamic and I think he was like the main one actually for KOF.
For a while, man.
New York, yeah, for a long time. So shout out to KPB for putting us on.
Yeah.
Initially. And like, yeah, it's just, we've been showing up to like everything because we were players, we were competing in everything. We would also be there. So if they ever needed somebody, we'd just be, okay, we'd sit down and we just do our thing. And we got a lot of practice that way. And a lot of visibility too at the same time, which I think, again, New York privilege, you know?
I'll take it. So we touched a little bit on this, but man, you've worked so many big events just in the years of Sam Show 2019 to now, even with COVID, right? Because COVID stopped the world for a bit. We couldn't go to locals or majors for like a good year and some change. Can you just list off some of the events you've worked that's on your resume?
Okay. Yeah,
doesn't have to be all, just some, because I mean we'll be here all day with, you know, your work.
On the spot, it feels like I'm applying to commentate another event. You know, they have those questionnaires. List some of your.
Oh yeah.
So the ones that I usually lead with are obviously like the Evos. Excuse me. Evo 2019 was the first one that I did, and I managed to do top 8 with Ryan Hart was who they chose for top 8 Sam Show, and that was an incredible experience. After that, I guess we have Evo Japan 2020. I worked with Help Pockets, which was amazing. Evo after 2020 there was like a pause.
There was no events until I think halfway through 2021, maybe like towards the end is when I think events came back.
So I commentated the latest Evo, KOF 15. I did top 8, which is amazing in the arena, which was
that was nice.
Yeah, that was sick. And also like I've worked Combo Breaker. I've worked Texas Showdown. I've worked did I do CEO? Yeah, I did do CEO Taku. I've done like a lot of the events that I've gone to.
Yeah, I'd say you've done like majority of the bigger like the events you've went to since you started commentating. I would say that. Not to mention the online events recently, right? The ICFC North America and the regional bouts, which was like directly working with SNK and Tenno Media. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, so big resume, man, and ever growing. I'm sure we'll see you at more events this coming year.
Yeah, I hope so.
So last little thing we'll talk about with commentary. Do you have a prominent moment in your commentary career? Maybe like there was a match, or maybe there was a moment you were on fire, like everything you were saying, the energy, just everything, the partner you had. Like, do you have anything that stands out as like, that was a good ass block, or that was a good ass section?
Yeah, I think people are gonna accuse me of being pandering for saying this because of who I'm talking to. But I really truly believe that our work at Lunar Bout, which year was it? The latest Lunar Bout, 2022.
Oh, last year, 2022.
2022. I think that our top 8 block for KOF 15 at Lunar Bout 2022 was the best work by far that I've done.
Really?
I think so. I don't think I've ever been able to match that level of like excitement and just being right on all my calls and stuff like that. And working with you it's always great. So
same here. Yeah.
I think for those of you guys that are picking commentators for big events, you guys got to hire both of us at the same time and put us together, because this I really think that
we need it, man. I can't believe we
never get to work together.
We both worked a lot of the major events last year, and like we get the blocks and we're like, oh, what block are you on? And you're like, oh, I'm at 2, and I'm like, oh, I'm at 12. And it's like no, we love working. We want to put that out there. We love working with who we're working with. I always have a good time with all my partners, but like you said, I feel like our work together is some of the best. Like even like that Lunar Bout, like dude, like everything about that event was just so much fun. That was definitely one of my most fun top 8s. I'm gonna put the link actually in the description, guys. So if y'all got like 2 hours for free and you're just chilling, just go watch that. It was fun. It was very early into KOF 15. I want to say like maybe a month or 2 in.
Yeah.
It was like 2 months in, because Team Garo was out, but not Team Southtown.
That's true.
So yeah, it was very early into KOF 15, but it was a lot of fun, and I think that was definitely a great block.
Yeah.
But so last thing about commentators, I know I said the other thing, but this one for sure. Can you give me some advice for anyone looking to break into commentary? Someone that's like, they want to get into it, they want to start. What's something you would tell them to do and something you tell them not to do?
Sure. So I think the most important thing for commentary is to try your very best not to be annoying. Because like being annoying is like it's a death sentence. People are gonna meet the stream and they're gonna bitch about you on forums and Discord and shit like that. So like, just don't be annoying. If you find yourself saying the same things over and over again, you need to like try to train yourself out of that habit. If you get a little overexcited sometimes, maybe like at inopportune moments and stuff like that, I feel like people have a very low tolerance for annoyance, but like everything else, like as long as you're like putting in an effort, as long as you know the game, as long as you're like really passionate about the game, it'll show in your commentary. But just do your very best not to annoy the stream viewers, because that is like the cardinal sin. That's
a death sentence. Yeah, it is. Once you do something, or if you keep saying the same thing over the chat, well, they'll mute the VOD, like you said. They'll mute it, they'll complain, and then, I mean, I don't know personally how much that goes into an event not hiring you, but I know for sure if I see a bunch of people saying, this person sucks, this person's annoying, blah, 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 it's going to make me, might be a little more reluctant to, slide them. But what's something good that you would recommend? Something they should do?
Yeah, just you have to get your reps in. Like you have to. There's so many tournaments out these days, or tournament series even, like online tournaments that you can work on to build your skills and also build visibility. So definitely try to get in on those if you can. There's I don't know if the Game Goons still do this, but the Game Goons, they used to do like a commentary boot camp type of thing. Ooh. Where like. Yeah. They would have people that are trying to work on their commentary skills come on and just like commentate lobbies and stuff like that. Stuff like that can be really helpful. Getting feedback from people that are willing to be honest with you is really something. I think it's something that's really important to have. Is have people that won't like be a bitch around you and like just tell you exactly what you did wrong and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, constructive criticism, right? Like, hey, you know, work on this, work on that. But it can be scary at times too. That's why you have to surround yourself with people you know have your back, because you never know, somebody could give you bad advice. But yeah, you know, you touched on it. The Game Goons, they used to do through COVID, I think maybe before, but I know definitely through COVID when we were home and couldn't go to events, they had a boot camp, and let me tell you, that helped me out a lot. They reached out to me and they were like, hey, we want you to do this, and what it was basically was, it was me and about 3 other commentators, and then they would have like a match. I can't remember if it was like 1 match or 2, but basically you would rotate with the commentators. So you would work with me and Aroo would work, like just hypothetical, and then me and Sugar Bear might do a block, and then Aroo and Sugar Bear might, like, basically seeing how everyone is with each other, and then like, hey, what can you work on? And something that, you know, for me personally, the Goons told me straight up, hey, you know, this and this is good, but you can work on this. And at the time it was selling moments, and I will say that's something I think I'm strong at, is kind of creating that narrative to like, so this just happened, this is the magnitude of it, this is how big it is, and I can definitely, you know, attribute that to you know, the Goons doing that. So Goons, if you're watching, it would be cool if you guys could do something like this again for maybe some, you know, people getting into KOF commentary, Sam Show, whatever have you, you know what I mean? Because there's new commentators coming in for every game, basically. I know Street Fighter 6 is on the rise. That's going to be funny, seeing everybody trying to get in there, including myself.
Yeah, I might, you know, honestly, so I've been playing it. I played the betas like
You've been
crazy.
playing it, huh?
I was playing the betas a lot, and I was having a lot of fun with the game, and I also might try, if as long as like that passion remains, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to try to commentate a game that I'm not really feeling 100%.
For sure.
I wanted to also bring up that if you're looking to get into commentary, it helps to, I don't know if this is like good to bring up, but it helps to know like the right people, because a lot of what helped me get my foot in the door, besides everything else that I mentioned, was also the fact that like I had people in my corner, you know, like putting me on. So one of the big things I think at the big events that helped me get spots initially was like the fact that some of the people that are making these decisions thought highly of me, and thought highly of like my skills and like where, you know, the things that I do for the community and all that stuff. Like all that stuff is important, and there's a lot of intangible stuff that like you can't really train people on, but like it's there and it's important. So just something to keep in mind.
Yeah, I would agree 100%. And yeah, so we'll talk a little briefly about KOF 15, but right now 15 is almost a year old, dude, which is crazy. Again, we've waited for like, I felt like 2.5 years, right? They showed the logo at EVO, or the demo of the logo, whatever you want to call that. They showed it at EVO right before COVID, and we're like, yeah, KOF 15. And then, you know, things happen with the world. It slowed the process of the game. We finally get the game 2022 in February. It is now January 2023. So like I said, roughly a year in. What are your thoughts on the current state of the game right now, just a year into it?
I think so I really like the game. I think 15 is one of the best KOFs in my opinion, and I think it'll stand the test of time. I think a lot of people right now are like kind of burned out on the patch, understandably so. We've been playing this patch for quite a bit. It's been around since like right before Combo Breakers, so it's been like half a year or so. And there are some very clear characters that are kind of dominating the meta, so to speak. And I don't blame people for being kind of fed up with it, and like the things that the way that they like impact how you have to play the game, stuff like that. But other than that, I feel like I really feel like KOF 15, like the system mechanics, everything, like the way it controls the movement, the game pace, I think it's all really good. And I think with a good balance patch, it'll bring a lot of people, it'll reignite a lot of people's fire, competitive drive.
For sure. I think the thing is when you know a balance patch is coming, that just makes you not want to play the current version, right? Like if someone says, hey, we're going to update the game in 3 months, you're like, well, I'll just wait for the update, you know?
Yeah.
So even if you were enjoying the game, you might slow down, you know, on playing it or what have you. I mean, obviously there's a lot of people who continue to play the game. There's been so many offline and online events consistently, running event, you know, having solid amount of interest for the game. But yeah, I feel like that happens with any game. You know, once you know that a update is coming or a new version of the game is coming, you're like, I'm waiting for that. So on that though, we have the update coming out. SNK said revisions, right? I think they said it didn't just say like balance changes. It said refinements. That's the word I'm looking for. It was like refinements, and that got a lot of people thinking. There's some people who think we might be getting the variable health that was in season 2 of KOF 14. Now, for those that may not know what that is, variable health is what it sounds like. Every character having a different health. So in KOF, normally everyone has 1,000. In season 2 of KOF 14, some characters dropped to 900. Some characters got more. I think at the time, the most health was Chang. He had like 1,200. So, you know, just think about that. 1,200 health, that's an extra 300 versus Mai, who has 900. Or, you know, somebody like Benimaru had 950. That's a lot of polarizing thoughts, I think, on that. There's people who I know flat out stopped playing 14 when variable health was added. You know, it could have been other factors, but I know some people didn't like that. How do you feel? What would you feel if that was something they gave us in this upcoming patch?
So I'm not a fan of the variable health system. I don't like that method of balancing personally, particularly for KOF. It works fine for like Street Fighter or whatever, but I don't really like for KOF, and I hope that that's not what they do. But I also think that like maybe people are reading into the wording a little bit too much. I feel like it's just gonna be another balance patch, another it's kind of like 1.32 all over again for us.
So just flat out like character balances, obviously
maybe some system changes,
right.
In 1.32 they like nerfed fireball hitboxes a little bit. They might do stuff like that where they adjust the system mechanics a little bit, but like I don't think that it's going to be too crazy.
All right,
like, there'll be a lot of balance changes, but I don't think it'll be like a ridiculous amount of changes. You know what I mean?
You think that the balance changes are primarily going to be just the characters, right? Not necessarily system changes or adding stuff. Yeah. Is there anything that you would like to see as far as, I know we can talk about, I call them the Sinister Six, obviously, the top 6 characters. You know who they are. Everyone knows who they are by now. There's thoughts on that. People want them dead. Some people want them viable, but just, tone them down. Some people want them to be removed from the game, like kind of like me. I don't want to see BJNA. I hate that character.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm so sick of that character. I'm so sick. But like, is there anything in particular you're looking for, maybe for your characters? Do you want anything that you can think of, like maybe something on a new move, or just make this better or that better, anything like that?
Yeah. So what I want is, I want this for every single balance patch, is just for the game to be fun. And I think that having characters be a little bit like more equal footing would make the game more fun, even for people that play the characters that are really strong right now. So I think I don't want to see the top tiers get like nerfed to oblivion and like completely unplayable. I would like them to, obviously in an ideal world, every character is the same tier. Every character is playable in tournament, all that stuff, right? So that's what I would like to see. As for like specific stuff, characters that I play, currently I'm playing Gato, Yori, Cronin. I actually do want to see Cronin nerfed, like sincerely, because the character, he is way too stupid right now. It made him less fun to play, honestly, compared to before, where it felt like I actually had to have a brain to play him. He's really strong right now. I don't like what he's done to the game. So I would like to see some nerfs. I think that they should, specifically, I think that they should nerf his combo options. The fact that he's able to get like the the light swipe from like basically any range into like ridiculous amounts of damage. I think that was a little overdone. So if they just like remove that ability from him and maybe remove the EX DP, moving him forward a little bit when he does it, so that it makes it harder for him to get combos from like anywhere. That would probably go a long way, and it would force people to have to use the EX Fireball to do combos, and that would scale more and do less damage. So I feel like it'd be a pretty elegant way to balance him, but we'll see what they do.
Interesting, yeah. The EX Fireball, that makes sense, because it's going to scale more, because that's really the problem, right? Cronin has like his combos are short, so that's why they have like no scaling, because they're like, it's 5-hit combo, 5-6 hits, but it's just a shit ton of meter he's dumping out, so you're losing like 70%, you know. But I like that, and I'm very excited to see what's going to happen. Again, at the time of this recording, the balance patch is not out. But we know we're getting it in January, so I'm hoping that we do get like a transcript of the patches first, and then like maybe they'll drop the update in a day or so. Because I love reading, I love like the initial thought of, oh my god, they like this. Because then I'll be the first to tell you, when the patch notes came out and I read Benny Marlo's changes, I'm like, this is not going to do nothing. He's still going to suck. Blah blah blah. And then he came out and like that super juggle is like, ooh, oh my god, I'm so happy.
A lot. Yeah.
He still needs a little work, I think, but
a little bit, yeah,
a little bit. But overall, I'm happy. And funny segue into Benny Maro. We're gonna wrap this up with what I call the Raijinken round, because I'm so clever. I'm so smart. Basically, it's just a lightning round of a few questions. I only have 3 here for you. I'm gonna say something, and you tell me the first thing that comes to mind when I say what I say.
Okay.
First up, favorite KOF character.
Iori.
Favorite KOF song, and be specific on the version.
Inner Shade, KOF 2000.
Oh my god, you're so. This is why I love you, bro. I can kiss you right now. Mwah, that song is so good. 2000 as a whole, really good.
So good, yeah.
So
Angel has he has the vinyl version of the KOF 2000 soundtrack. So
he would, right?
Yeah, right.
Shout out to A5. He would. That guy is the biggest KOF 2000 simp in the world.
Absolutely.
Yep. And last but not least, man, give me a perfect KOF team, and I want you to be specific. I want characters and versions. So if you want to be like Iori from 98, Cronin from 15, what you got for me?
The perfect KOF team. So for me, I would want to play like the characters that are the most enjoyable for me. So I would probably pick Nameless from O2UM. Iori from 15, and I like Iori in 15 a lot. I'm having a lot of fun. And who else? Oh, Daimon from 98 Vanilla.
Okay. yeah. I was like, when you gonna get your boy in there? Because I know you're a big Daimon stan. So
I love Daimon, and I'm so sad that he's not in 15 right now.
Shingo's on his way. Who knows? Maybe there's a team of Daimon. Like it's like a Team Japan, like refugees. It's like Daimon. Cool. Yeah, Daimon.
Shingo, maybe Kusanagi or something.
Right. I think
Saisu would be sick.
Oh, his father. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think there's a case to even bring in. I mean, Kusanagi wasn't a part of Team Japan, but like, I am down for having an alternate like version of a character, because especially with the Iori and Kill, right? Chloe Iori, I think, would be sick in this game.
He'd be so fun, I think. Yeah.
SNK, I hope y'all watching. Hey guys, Rome himself here from the future. So we have a little bit of an issue. I noticed when I was recording with Andrew, when we switched over to the matches, I didn't properly capture the matches. So because of that, you can only hear the audio. You can't see the gameplay. So, rookie mistakes. It happens. It was my first time recording. So I do apologize for that. And when I went back to get the recordings for the videos, they were already passed on from other matches. So sorry, there's not going to be any match footage here. But I will say thank you guys so much. I hope you enjoyed the first episode for what it is thus far, and we won't make this mistake again. Yo, Aroo, thanks for being a part of the very first episode of 15 Minutes of Flame, man. It was a pleasure. It was a great time playing those matches. And I just want to ask you, how can we find you? How can the viewers at home find your information?
So if you want to follow me, I'm mostly active on Twitter. It's Twitter, or it's at Aroo Lee, Aroolee. And on Twitch, I stream once, like maybe 3 times a year. But it's again, it's twitch.tv/Aroo. And yeah, that's basically it.
Cool. Where's the next event that people can find you at?
So at the time of this recording, I will be at Frosty Faustings next. But I'm gonna try to make it out to a lot of stuff this year.
Sounds good, man. Look forward to seeing your growth continue. Look forward to seeing our friendship continue, because it's been great, man. I've known you for quite a long time now, and it's been awesome seeing, you know, just both of us doing and giving back to the scene. So with that, man, you have a good night. Everyone at home, thank you guys for tuning in to the very first episode of 15 Minutes of Flame. I am Rome himself, and we'll see you next time.
That's all for now, fighters. But if you've enjoyed what you've seen, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, don't forget to follow Rome's social media pages down below. Take care, see you next time, and most importantly, thank you for watching.